One of my first subscribers, Graham, sent me this one. It concerns a woman who goes all broken soft serve rage on a McDonald's in Polk County, Florida. Yes, Polk County. Guess who ended up playing Godzilla to this woman's Tokyo? You see, Polk County is Sheriff Grady Judd's domain. And yes, Grady Judd is a badass, but he blows up people of all races, white, Asian, black. If you commit a crime, your picture goes on his card. He doesn't care. But this time, Grady Judd went too far. He didn't realize he was messing with the wrong woman, and she fought back. Humiliated by Judd, Tiana Jones hired a lawyer, Jeremy McLymant, from Asilia Law Firm. No, not Asilia Law Firm, Asilia Law Firm.
My name is the Craw.
The Craw?
Oh, not the Craw, the Craw.
Oh, yes, the Craw.
Jeremy decided to turn the tables on Grady and beat him at his own game. And so he held a press conference of his own, and you will see that the name of the law firm is the least silly aspect of what takes place. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dredd to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnny Walker Dredd Show.
Let's go to Grady Judd's press conference. I'm only going to show bursts of it because his press conference is not the source of hilarity for this video.
I want to introduce you to Tiana Jones. She's 22. She's a pretty lady, but she was McMad. So when she arrives at the McDonald's to pick up her order, they have it ready, but because it was a special order, they confused some things, and they ask her, pull up to window 3. We'll fix it for you really quick. Well, she got McMad. And instead of pulling up at window 3, she parked and went inside, and she started having a conversation. And the longer she talked, the madder she got, and in the process of all of this, she dialed 911. Did you hear what I said? She dialed 911 and complained about her order at McDonald's. Then she went behind the counter, and you'll see it, and grabbed the cups and started throwing them around. Her sister tried to get her out of the McDonald's. She wouldn't do that. Instead, she continued on her rant and her rage. You know, I don't know what was wrong with her that night. I don't know if she was like 2 fries short of a Happy Meal, or maybe it was she was short of the Happy Meal completely. But she created a McMess, and she acted like a McNut. But you know what she ended up? A McBurglar. That's right. Do you realize when she went behind that counter, continued to engage and hit the employees with stuff, she committed a burglary and an assault, which is a first-degree felony. On the way out of the store, after she had already announced to everybody she was 5 months pregnant, she pulled her shirt up to show everybody her stomach, and then twerked her way out of the store. You can't make this up. Well, here comes the 911 call, we believe. She might have also called her family in the midst of all of this, but we have a lot of it on a 911 call. You'll be able to hear it when we give it to the news media. There she goes assaulting him. She is not happy. But you won't be able to play it on the evening news. Now she comes behind. Look at this. She's out of control. Now her sister comes up. That's her sister. Her sister's trying to calm her down. That's not working too well. Now she pulls her shirt up. There you go. There's a little twerk on the way out the door. See y'all later.
So let's get this show on the road.
On television and on social media, attacking someone charged. I was disgusted, as I normally am, watching Sheriff Grady on television and on social media attacking someone charged with a criminal offense.
Notice that he says, as he normally is. So you came into this with pretty hostile views on the sheriff already. That's good to know.
But this case is different. In this instant, Sheriff Grady attacked one of my clients. Sheriff Grady attacked a black woman.
My, this is different. You mean a black woman has committed a crime that disgusted Grady Judd in lily-white Polk County, Florida. I mean, it was one thing when Grady was ridiculing black males and white females, but attacking a black woman, hey, he's gone too far.
Sheriff Grady threw an underage minor in harm's way. Sheriff Grady, the defense does not rest. Tianis Jones was just trying to make it through that day. Tianis does not come from money. She does not have people that she can lean on when she needs help. In fact, she is the person that people lean on when they need help. She is there to provide her family with support monetarily. She has to scramble to find money for not only her children, her siblings, older and younger, her grandparents, her father who's in prison.
Oh, well, if her father's in prison, what are the chances she's guilty of anything? If there's one thing we know about the male prison population, their kids are upstanding citizens. Yeah, way to stand up for your client there, Jeremy.
Loco! Huh?
They get to the McDonald's, they get to the drive-thru, Tianis places an order. When she places an order, she goes to the first window and she makes the payment. They direct her to go to the second window. When she gets to the second window, the McDonald's employees forget 2 different drinks and they mess up a third. At that point, Tianis tells the employees that there's been a mistake. They say that they did not get the other 2 drinks and they mistakenly made the wrong shake for her siblings. Tiani says, no problem. I'll pay for the shake. I'll pay for the new drink. Please just process it and give me the drink that I ordered. They say, no problem. Pull up to window 3 and we'll be right out with that. Tianis goes to window 3. When she gets to window 3, they bring out the drinks, but they don't bring out any food. The food was not for Tianis. It was for her younger brother, her younger sister, and her child.
So why is this important? Are you going to tell us next which child ordered which burger? Her son wanted the Big Mac, holding the onions and extra ketchup. Her daughter wanted the Filet-O-Fish, but light on tartar sauce.
So she sits at the window after she gets her drinks and she's waiting for the food. 10, 15 minutes go by and she's still waiting for food. Another employee comes to the window and asks her, what are you doing here? She's like,
are you telling us that she spent 15 minutes in the drive-thru line? Were the cars behind her able to get out?
I'm waiting for the food that I just ordered. The employee asks to see her receipt and she shows them the receipt. Another employee comes to the window, a second employee, and says, what's the problem? What's going on? He asks for the receipt. Tiani shows him the receipt again, or this person the receipt. At that point, they're still confused. They still don't know what's going on. They're still mistaken. A third employee comes to the window, a general manager at that point, or someone who called themselves a general manager. When they get to the window, they say that they had already given Tianis her food. They ask for the receipt again. Tianis, confused and not understanding what is going on, parks her car and goes inside to get a better understanding of what is happening. As she goes inside the McDonald's, she is there to ask them for a refund or the food. Simple. The general manager denied her her refund and denied her the food, told Tianis to leave, that she was not going to serve her. A much different story than what the sheriff told.
Well, not really. But between the two, I trust the sheriff more than her.
So when Tianis was in the store and she didn't get her refund and she didn't get her food, she caused havoc. Some people would call the police, which she did.
After causing havoc. I don't know. Sounds like the sheriff's version.
Some people might just walk away, But Tianis works for every dollar that she has. She doesn't have any money to waste. She is someone who is always providing for her family. And when her brother was in the car and didn't get the food, her little brother, couldn't be no more than 5 years old,
Well, by now, you should know his age.
and he didn't get his food, he was crying. And as trivial as that may be, Tianis didn't like it. So she went inside to figure out what the problem was. The employees did not give her a refund, did not want to give her her food, and Tianis caused havoc in the store.
Now, some of you are thinking, he's her lawyer. Why is he describing her actions as causing havoc? No, he's just getting warmed up. By the time he finishes off her reputation, she'll have no dignity left. And trust me, it's been a little dull so far. Well, that will change.
She eventually got her refund, and she left the store immediately.
So she got her money. But you told us that she didn't get a refund. Okay.
Sheriff Grady Judd, his unprofessional and dangerous comments stand to taint any potential jury pool that Ms. Tianis could potentially have in this case.
You know what else could taint the jury pool? Criticizing the most popular sheriff in the entire country. You're not taking on Barney Fife. Sheriff Judd won his last election by 95% of the vote. He's nationally celebrated. Usually no one even bothers to run against him. You know that 10 out of the 12 jurors are going to be Grady Judd fans. And here you are pulling this?
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
As a lawyer, that's how I see it. The rest of the world may see Sheriff Grady Judd as the class clown of all of the Florida Sheriff's Departments, Sheriff's offices.
Oh yeah, that's how the rest of the world sees him, as the class clown. Okay, you run with that.
That was Loco, but not in an entertaining way.
She needs to fire him. Remember earlier that he said that he normally found Grady Judd despicable or something like that. This guy isn't fighting for her. He has a burr under his saddle about the sheriff. He's using her to gain a platform to air out his grievances against a person who might be the most popular man in Florida. We've seen this before. Remember Kimberly Motley using her client, Gage Grosskreutz, who is white, to argue about equity for people of color in the Kyle Rittenhouse case.
30 days ago, the court, not this court, but there's another Kenosha County case involving also a double homicide where a male of color was given a $2.5 million bond. $2.5 million. And we asked that the court also take that in consideration.
If I'm her lawyer, I think to myself, my client is clearly guilty. My job is to minimize the punishment as much as possible. But that won't be hard. I'll just tell the prosecutor,
look, it's no big deal. She threw some cups around. No one got hurt. She feels bad about what she did. She just got angry. She didn't attack anyone. She just took it out on a few plastic cups. You're a busy man. You have a full docket. How about we just drop the charges? She learned her lesson and she paid a price. Judd humiliated her on a national level. Or let's do this. Let's do a couple of months of probation so that you can focus on more important matters. How about it? Come on.
I wouldn't bother holding a press conference. I mean, why? But if I was so inclined, I would say,
hey, we all appreciate having a sheriff like Grady Judd fighting crime, and I certainly enjoy his press conferences where he publicly shames those who have really hurt others. In this case, however, we think he took it a bit too far. She didn't hurt anyone, so I would like to take a moment here to add some context to what happened inside McDonald's.
However, it would be hard to argue for leniency if I go out and publicly try to humiliate the sheriff. The prosecutor wins elections because he has the support of Grady Judd, who always compliments those from the prosecutor's office. How is he going to sell such a light sentence to the sheriff after I held a press conference where we practically blamed him for mass shootings? And yes, one of the speakers at this press conference will make that accusation.
I'm crazy. I'm the local one.
Judd would tell the world, and more importantly, those living in Polk County, that I'm soft on crime and a menace to society. My career as a prosecutor would be over. So, I urge those of you in serious trouble to make sure that the attorney you choose doesn't plan to use you as a horsed vessel for his or own political causes.
I see him as someone who is very dangerous to our judicial system, someone who does not care that his comments may bleed into a jury pool, someone who is looking for an opportunity to make headlines, looking for an opportunity to go viral, looking for an opportunity to keep his name relevant.
Dude, you literally scheduled a press conference to stand on a public soapbox. You're the last one who can complain.
Sheriff Grady Judd was looking for that opportunity last week. He was not looking for the most violent or dangerous person in Polk County. He put out a manhunt for Tianis Jones because she was throwing cups around in McDonald's. He charged her with burglary, assault, a first-degree felony punishable by up to life in prison.
Whoa. Florida takes simple assault pretty seriously. The actual maximum sentence is 20 years.
For what happened in McDonald's. Tianis Jones had a bad day. What many of you don't know is that Tianis Jones has been diagnosed with a mental illness. And we're not going to run away from that topic. We're going to lean into it. We're going to get proximate. We're going to get close. We're going to find out what it is that happened that day. Tianis Jones has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression.
Unless you're planning to plead innocent by reason of insanity, this will only help bury your client. You're making her sound dangerous.
So everything that she had been going through, the weight of the world on her shoulders and taking care of her family and having to deal with the issues that she was dealing with at McDonald's, she snapped. That doesn't make her a criminal. It makes her a human being.
I think it could be both.
Tianis Jones is someone who is only trying to get her refund or her food, just as anyone else who would have gone to McDonald's or any fast food restaurant would have done.
Yeah, about that. There is a point where her behavior diverged from that which most of us would have done. Try as I might, I can't imagine throwing cups at the workers inside a McDonald's. And I also can't imagine twerking inside a McDonald's. And if you're imagining me doing that, I would stop now before you lose your mind.
She was owed her money. The employees at McDonald's stole her money and would not give it back. Being an employee of a corporation does not give you the ability to steal someone's money. Being the employee of a corporation does not give you the ability to treat someone as if they're less than.
Odd, because you just said they did. And less than what?
Miss Tianis Jones has that mental health illness. She has medication that she's not taking because she's pregnant.
Now, you're her lawyer, right? And you just told the world that she was off her meds.
That's more like, zany or goofy. Yeah. It's the wrong kind of loco.
Daryl Brooks isn't looking so bad all of a sudden, is he? So, a person with no money and a serious mental illness who needs medication to function got pregnant and so can't take her meds. I can't wait until about 18 years from now to see how her kid works out.
So when Sheriff Grady Judd gets on his stand and he gets to talking about what happened on that day in McDonald's, when he starts to mimic Tianis Jones, he doesn't realize that his comments are very dangerous. He doesn't realize that he's affecting Tianis' mental health. He doesn't realize that when she goes home and she has to read all of the comments and look at all of the videos that are all over the internet, millions of views, he doesn't understand how that affects her. He doesn't
Oh, I think he knows how the shame and embarrassment of having your crime paraded around affects you, which is why he does it. Don't commit any crimes and you foil his evil plot.
Understand how Tiana Jones's minor sister was thrown in harm's way. Doesn't want to go to school because people are making fun of her. Sheriff Grady Judd should have been professional about the way that he went about the situation. His unprofessional and dangerous remarks will lead to Miss Tiana, has led to this situation, has led to me having to come in here and clear up the lies that Sheriff Grady told. There was never an online order. She ordered at the drive-thru.
Yeah, so what?
There was never any refund issued or them saying that they would issue a refund. The refund didn't come until after Tiana had to tear up the McDonald's.
No, no. You're her lawyer. Your job is to minimize what she did.
You are so loco, man!
My client threw a few cups around. A big deal. They're plastic cups. There was no real property damage. She just got mad about the way she was treated.
That's the language of a defense attorney. Can you imagine how this would have played out in court?
And that is why, Your Honor, Miss Jones tore up McDonald's.
Objection, Your Honor. His characterization of what took place as tearing up is grossly unfair to our client and... Wait, she's not our client. We're the prosecutors, right? Why did he... This is too easy. What kind of trap are they setting? Are they playing some form of four-dimensional chess?
The 911 call. Miss Jones didn't call 911 to complain about an order. She called 911 to tell the operator, to tell the police that the McDonald's employees were stealing her money. Hence, the quote in the audio.
Yeah, that was kind of dumb. This was a civil matter. But even if you choose to characterize what took place as a theft in progress, there was no need to tie up an emergency line over it. It's not like the McDonald's employees were going to get away if the police didn't get there lickety-split.
These people are trying to cheat me out of my money, but no one saw that, no one heard that, no one questioned that. They only heard the image that Sheriff Grady Judd put out, the picture that he painted. The proof is there. She didn't get her refund. She has her receipt to show when she actually got it.
She didn't get her refund. She has her receipt to show when she actually got it. Got it.
30 minutes after she placed her initial order. 30 minutes of her having to argue and go back and forth with these people at McDonald's. Sheriff Grady Judd may not care about mental illness. He may not care about how his rhetoric invades the province of a jury. He may not care because while the law may be important for him to uphold or enforce for him and himself, it may mean nothing. Everyone. I didn't write the law. I just read it.
Quack, quack, quack. Quack, quack. I'm a duck.
No.
I'm a crazy duck.
No, Carlito,
Quack,
Carlito, it's
quack.
not that kind of loco,
Quack.
okay?
What? Are these the lyrics from some lost Beatles song? At this point, you can almost predict someone telling Tiana, look into the car window across the street and wave because
I studied it, and now I practice it. And everyone is entitled to the same 5th and 14th Amendment due process protections. Everyone. That's a law that everyone needs to be following, especially an elected public official in Polk County. Miss Tiana's, I leaned in and I got proximate. I got close to find out what it is that's wrong, what it is that happened. Her mental illnesses are not the kind that you develop from hate that would cause you to go and shoot up a school or a church or a grocery store. The mental illness that she's developed come from the lack of having a father and the father's love.
I don't think that having no father causes mental illness, but okay. But speaking of such, there's been no mention of her husband. She was pregnant, right? Why do I have this sneaky suspicion that her child is going to grow up without a father figure? And I guess he'll develop a mental illness.
The mental illness that she's developed comes from experiencing things as a child that no child should ever have to experience, things that you all would never know anything about.
I don't think she's the first black person to have grown up without a father figure in the house. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's happened before.
There is always, and when you do this work, when you really do the work of defending people who have been charged with criminal offenses, you learn how to lean in, to get proximate, to get close, to find out what it is that makes people tick. And the majority of people aren't out there committing acts which we criminalize because they're just prone to criminal activity. The majority of the people have a story. They have a reason as to why something happened. And it's never as simple as what you see on the surface.
So you're admitting that your client is guilty, but she's just not prone to committing a crime. Oh. I had an aunt who suffered a stroke when an artery exploded in her brain, and now I know what kind of pain she must have experienced.
Tianis, in front of these cameras and in front of the news, I want to tell you that a story that I learned from someone that I admire, someone that I respect very much.
Oh, hell. Here goes. Gather your family around, break out the popcorn, because this story is a real doozy.
After this press conference, Sheriff Grady Judd may say something. Everyone on the internet may say something about mental health. They may try to throw you under the bus.
No, dude, no! I thought the press conference was supposed to prevent that from happening. He literally said, after this press conference, they may try to throw you under the bus.
Stop. I'm in too deep.
But one day, there was a donkey.
Tianis, guess who's the donkey?
Hey, I'm the most local person in here.
Of all the freaking animals to use in a parable, he had to choose a donkey. Why not make her something ferocious like a bear or a wolverine or a raccoon? Strike that last one.
And he fell into a ditch. Every day, people would walk by that ditch and they would throw rocks and stones in the ditch. So much so that one day the donkey was able to get up, step on the stones, and walk out of the ditch. I say that to say that every knock is a boost.
Good, because my video will only serve to boost your reputation, Mr. McLymont. Keep in mind that he blew the telling of the story. The locals were throwing rocks at the donkey, much like the barbs that will be thrown at Tianis by Polk County residents after hearing this press conference. But the rocks piled up so much that the donkey was able to walk out of the ditch. They weren't just throwing rocks into the ditch. That makes no sense. And with that, Tianis breathes a sigh of relief. Finally, she can walk away from this clown show, lock her doors, and fill out the name change forms. But you would be so dead wrong, because Jeremy didn't show up alone. Oh no, he brought a couple of his buddies to join in the gang train on Tianis's dignity, and one in particular will absolutely astound you. But this video is already too long, and so you'll just have to wait for part 2. And you will not be disappointed, I promise. You really need to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss it. Like my video and subscribe to my channel.
With this bandana, I welcome you to the game.